Hey, what's up, beautiful people? How you doing? I'm the spiritual bodybuilder, and I am here to talk to you today about the victim archetype. Now, before you watch this video, if you haven't watched my video titled "Four Survival Archetypes and Mental Illness," please go watch that. If you don't know what an archetype is, or just to understand the foundation of what I'm talking about here, because I'm introducing a different philosophy, a perspective shift on how our brain works. This is how I have learned over the years. And if you haven't heard of Caroline Myss, I encourage you to check her out. She created this system that I'm talking about, and it's just fascinatingly structured so that we understand our own consciousness, right? So the victim archetype is a really big one to understand because it's readily shown in our world today. Really, our entire economy is structured to feed the victim within us. Why do you think that is? All this fear-based, propaganda that is thrown our way to feed our subconscious impulses is really powerful. And we're taught this growing up, and many people don't even see it or understand it or realizing it, stuck in that 3D matrix, right? So, without further ado, what is a victim archetype? What is it when you think of a victim, right? And we're not talking about like really a rape victim per se, or like a victim of a burglary or something like that. The victim within us is the one that feels like life isn't fair, right? Um, it's the illusion, that voice in our head that convinces us that others have control over us, right? Like, you will not be able to take care of yourself. And think about it. Look at the military. All right. The military breaks you down until you're nothing, and then builds you back up into a machine. And I know I was in the military for 10 years. They break you down so you're completely dependent on the system. Look at the medical system right now. All right. Look at the government, all these handouts, food stamps and, Social Security and all these different things that are designed to keep you afloat, but keep you down. Like the healthcare system, they should call it more like the disease maintenance system, right? Because you go in there and they give you a pill for a symptom, and then which creates more symptoms, which creates more pills, which then eventually creates the need for surgery and other issues, and it's a downward spiral, right? And the military, it does give you structure, okay, and structure is very, very important, but we have to understand where we're taking responsibility for our structure, or we're allowing ourselves to be taken advantage of in these systems, in these processes, and allowing our victim archetype to take over and be in control. It's a voice inside of us that says, you can't do this. Like, these authority figures are in charge of you, and they're going to be in charge of you, and that's just the way life is. So deal with it. And if you do just deal with it, or if you accept that, then you're going to live your life stuck in that victim archetype. Now, once we take responsibility, and through the awakening process, this archetype, as well as the other three survival archetypes, are the ones that come up. They're the ones that challenge us. They're the ones that get louder and stronger and make our life crumble, so that we can see, hey, I can do this. I can take charge of my life. I can make my life happen. And it's uncomfortable. And you're going to have to get out of your comfort zone. But you know what? You can and will make it happen if you dedicate yourself to making it happen. You have to dedicate every ounce of your being to work through it. Because if you have even a little bit in there, it's going to take over, and you're going to get to this point. It's like a glass ceiling. You're going to hit this glass ceiling, and it's going to take over, and then you're going to just repeat the same pattern. If you've seen yourself, or if you realize, over the years, you keep finding yourself in the same situation, that's these archetypes coming to tell you, hey, you need to look at me, and you need to take responsibility and deal with this. You need to face it. You need to feel it. All right. These things have been taught to us throughout our life. And in order for us to live the life, deep down, we all have this feeling that, there's a better life. There's a better way. Some people choose to embrace that and face it and go through the pain and the suffering of processing all that energy so that we can come out on top. And some people just accept it and be like, well, this is life and this is how it's supposed to be. And I accept it. And that's that. And those are the people that end up having health issues by the time they're 40. Those are the people that end up having heart attacks when they're 50. Those are the people that have, diseases and get sick and are tired and lethargic. And, you ever notice like older people, like I'd say 60 and above, right? You either see older people that are really, really, really happy or they're really, really, really fucking miserable, right? Why is that? Because we come to this point, the threshold, where life is going to come down on us and it's going to hit us hard. And we're either going to face it, feel it, and process it and humble ourselves and let our soul shine through, or we're going to allow our ego to run the show and stay in control, which is an illusion, right? And where the energy is going to make us feel heavy and it's going to stuff us down, and it's just going to get harder and harder and harder. And by the time you're about 60, you're at that point where you've either worked through it and faced it and feeling it, and you're loving life, and okay, like, I'm doing my thing and I'm fulfilled and I'm here and I'm ready to go. Or you're going to be miserable and you're going to be tired and you're going to feel like shit and you're going to be disease ridden. You're just going to have problem after problem after problem, and they're going to compound, and it's just going to go way solidly in one of two ways. So we each have the opportunity and the ability to choose. The great thing about being a human being is that we have the power of choice. That is our superpower. So you can choose to grow and to go through the pain and to feel it and face it, or you can choose to succumb. And there's no right or wrong. There's no good or bad. It's what you choose. And just taking responsibility for that is the important part, right? Accepting and understanding it. Knowledge is power, but it's only power if there's action taken, right? We have to take action in order to work through this. So we can either look at life. The victim can tell us that, every step that we're going to take out of our comfort zone is going to harm us. We're going to get hurt. We're going to be too vulnerable, and we're going to be, like our ego is going to be, hit, and we're going to feel pain. Or be like, all right, I'm ready to feel the pain. I'm ready to go through it. Let's just get it over with. Let's just get it done. And the deeper you go and the more you go into it, the more you feel it, the more you realize, you know what? This